This is exactly what the Lakers needed, is following what was a crazy end of their season. Some new reports have just dropped, revealing some big details as it pertains to LeBron James and his future in LA, specifically as it pertains to his next contract. We're going to have to dive into that, as well as discuss how this directly impacts not only the Lakers' future, but the Lakers' immediate future regarding their offseason plans. A ton to go over today, as there are massive implications here for all these different things. But before we get into it, folks, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. We're going to start going live on a weekly basis. Stay tuned for all the live streams. But again, make sure to hit that subscribe button. About 90% of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed. And thank you guys for your continued support over here. Ladies and gentlemen, a ton to go over today. And obviously, the Lakers are, they have a lot of work to do. They are busy right now in the offseason, and moves are going to start happening in a flurry. But we have some interesting details as it pertains to LeBron James, and this is exactly what the Lakers needed. And a ton of different reports have dropped here, and there is a lot to go over today, folks. A ton to go over. But let's start with this here. And obviously, there are some positives and there's some negatives. And I want to start with this, and you saw a little bit of a tidbit here. We're going to dive into a little bit of a ridiculous trade proposal later. But rumor, Bleacher Report predicts LeBron James will decline his option and re-sign with the Lakers on a 2-year, $105 million deal with a player option in year 2, potentially keeping the door open for a historic run with both Bronny and Bryce James by 2026. Now, this is a very, interesting one, because at this juncture, there's a couple of different ways to, think about this. Now, one, it is good news that he's going to be returning to the Lakers, and he said 2-year, $105 million deal, which is a ton of money. I think this is a good thing, right? I think it's a fine, thing overall. It is what the Lakers needed, some certainty regarding their future. LeBron is still a very, very good player, still a top 10, top 15 player in the NBA. And with the cap going up, like all these different things, players are getting more and more expensive. However, there's also this side of things. Love LeBron, but this is not the path to winning another chip. At some point, the Lakers will have to go all in with Luka and bid LeBron James farewell. And I'm very curious. I think that, there is some validity to what this guy's saying, but I am kind of all in on, the Lakers keeping LeBron James right now. And I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this, because I know there's some people that are saying, hey, we don't want LeBron James back. I think this is exactly what they need at this juncture. It's not necessarily, LeBron James taking up a huge part of their salary, which is going to be ultimately be the case. But it is, having certainty of LeBron James. And it's, prediction is that he's going to re-sign on a 2-year deal with a player option in the second deal. And I don't think the Lakers, there's going to be any point where they're saying, okay, we're done with LeBron James. The good news is he's going to be returning here. And you can see there's a couple of articles here. He holds a $52.6 million player option for next season. And there could be some interest in simply picking that up. If he made it clear this would be his last go around, the Lakers could celebrate his every step on a season-long farewell tour, which will conveniently include an LA-based All-Star game. Maybe he's not interested in putting that much basically finality to it, though. Not with his son, Bryce James, becoming draft eligible. LeBron lasting long enough to team up with Bronny is incredible, but suiting alongside both of his sons would certainly hold some appeal. Look for James to give himself a little bit of wiggle room then by declining his option and re-signing with the Lakers on roughly a 2-year, $105 million deal with a player option in the second season. So it is very interesting. And at the end of the day, I think LeBron James is going to, finish his career with the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm happy that he's going to be, in all likelihood, extending his contract. Now, this is good for, of course, the Lakers, but it's also good for LeBron James. Now, the problem is, how much are you constricting yourself with this move? Because this move immediately now, if you sign in for another 2 years, it is what the Lakers need, because you do need another star to pair with Luka Doncic. And if you consider LeBron James still a star, that is up to you. However, there is something to be said about, limiting yourself going forward, because at some point you're going to have to, like the guy said, go all in with Luka Doncic. But I think as it currently stands, even if, now I'm assuming he's going to have a no trade clause in that contract, whatever it is, even if you sign him to that 2-year deal about at the same amount of money, it now becomes very interesting to see what the Lakers are going to do going forward with this specific, contract, because it's at the point where it is a lot of money, but you kind of have to do it. And I don't necessarily think that the option or the best route here is not, signing LeBron James to the contract, but it is a very interesting conversation. And let me know down below exactly what you guys, think about this, because I know there's a lot of people on the side of, I don't want him, I don't want to keep him. It is what it is. Let him, walk out the door. But I think signing him to a 2-year, $105 million deal, it's pretty solid. There's a player option at year 2. And obviously, the risk with this is if he ends up somehow falling off a cliff, which I don't think will happen, you're on the hook for a lot of money. But you're not going to get a better player than LeBron James, even at 40 years old, with that money right now. Now, could you argue better player to fit around Luka? Sure. But I think this is exactly what the Lakers do need. It's some certainty going forward. But he's not taking a pay cut, which is the unfortunate reality of, this team. And whether you think that LeBron and this lineup right here with LeBron can, work, that's up to you. I'll let you guys, and this is why I'm sparking this video to see a lot of, your guys' thoughts down below. Because there's also this side of things. Did the negative LeBron plus minus worry any of you guys? He ran with an awful second unit, but I still didn't feel his impact compared to recent years. People will say the lineups he's playing with. Let me tell you something. Prime LeBron James, regardless of the lineup, doesn't have a negative plus minus. You see in 2012, 2018, LeBron on any team, and he dominates a plus minus. He's declining more than you think. And I want to completely kind of disagree with this. Like, he is obviously naturally declining. He's 40 years old, but to compare LeBron James at his age right now to LeBron in 2012 to 2018 is it's just stupid. I mean, we're 6 years out from his, middle of his prime. Yes, I mean, a lot of those negative, first of all, plus minus is not really a good stat to use, for most players, but at least to create, conclusive evidence here. But LeBron James, like, he's not going to be the same guy that he was years ago. And I don't think, like, is he worth $52 million in a nutshell? Maybe he isn't going to be worth that next season, and maybe he handcuffs them. But I think giving LeBron a chance to work with Luka for an entire offseason, have a center come in, I think LeBron and the Lakers, they need to try that out. We saw last year, like, the potential is there, even though it was quite poor. You get a center, you get some other role players around. I don't think getting rid of LeBron James is the problem here. And that's why I think this contract is going to be very good. But I understand that some people ultimately don't think that, which is why I'm very curious to see what you guys think. But I think this is a little bit, disingenuous here. He's declining more than you think. I don't know if that's the case. Yes, he did not have a fantastic, crazy MVP caliber season last year. He still carried this team at multiple points throughout the season. And, to say that he's declining heavily, I mean, I guess he's declining compared to his prime, but he is still one of the best players in basketball, and he has a positive impact. And towards the end of the season, one of the reasons he looked so poor out there was because he was run to the ground. I mean, we saw in the playoffs that Redick played him for 24 straight minutes, and then from there, that basically just wrapped him up. He is a genius, and I think him playing alongside Luka Doncic is going to help Luka Doncic continue to grow even beyond LeBron James's years. And assuming he signs a contract here for this amount of money, yes, it'll impact their future regarding getting players, but it could also do that in a positive manner. And let's not pretend that, if they decided to not go with LeBron James or anything like that, players are going to want to come to LA to play with LeBron James. It's as simple as that. And that's going to have a huge impact on actually bringing players in. So it's going to be very interesting to see, what happens with that. One other note here is that the Lakers are hiring a new strength and conditioning coach. Redick said he wants everyone to be in championship shape. So this is interesting. Obviously, there was some, discourse following the season. Redick calling out Luka Doncic for not being in shape, all these different things. I think at the end of the day, you're always looking to improve, the conditioning. Luka's going to have a full offseason with LeBron James, with all these different guys. They're going to be in very good shape, I think, like both physical shape and the team shape, if you get a center. I think a center fixes most of these problems, and I'm not oblivious to some of the other issues they have, but I think with a proper center, I mean, this would have been a great year to go for it, which is unfortunate the Mark Williams trade fell through because you have, the Timberwolves coming out and destroying an injured Warriors team. Like, this would have been the year to do it. The unfortunate reality is it didn't happen. Next year, you get a proper center. You get a 3-and-D wing. You're in very good shape. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. I think this is a very, solid sign. Of course, LeBron's going to stay. Probably going to be on a 1 to 2 year deal with a player option. Is it the best contract in the world for the Lakers? No, but it's something that provides some clarity, provides some certainty, and I think this team is going to be good going forward. Let me know down below what your thoughts are.